North CT side generally involves having two players towards the A side. This is usually k0nfig and aizy. k0nfig generally looks towards long, as you see here, and aizy is concentrating on the double doors. And they're very good at playing off each other, rotating according to what the T side is doing, and making sure the angles are covered, and taking risks, but very calculated and good risks. So in this situation here, utilities coming in, they double up on this stairwell, which is actually quite a good idea. These entryways are very small for the T side, and they've got a lot of angles to check, a lot of verticality in here, how low or high up the stairs you'll be. And you'll see here, they're able to get 3 kills. Importantly, aizy turns around. Once he doesn't get peeked by Sixer, he's pushing back out towards doors. This is very important. You don't just sit in there and then potentially get pincered on. He doesn't know that RPK is over towards drop, and he wants to get out of there, take that 1v1 duel at door if he's there, and then fall out around. He's able to reposition, and they end up winning that round. So here, you see they're going for a similar setup. This time k0nfig's got the AWP, which he often does. The smoke comes in towards the danger area, and aizy repositions accordingly. He's going to presume they're not going to push that smoke, which is fair enough. I mean, that's what you should do. Nice little pop flash for himself, and he ends up getting these 2 kills. That angle with the tree and playing those pillars is quite a strong angle. k0nfig, important thing to notice here is he's peeking out. He's looking for that information when he's put himself in that corner. He's not just sitting there waiting to get peeked, because you definitely lose that fight because of the way angles work and how that corner is so shallow. It's important that you peek out and go for those information plays. Sometimes North will take this more passive approach. You'll see here, Liquid haven't really done anything to force them off. And they'll just do this on occasions. Sometimes they'll send aizy towards B on every now and then. Pretty rare though. Sometimes they'll just do it because maybe in this situation they know that's a bit of a force buy. So this angle gets forced off. They both miss their shot. And you see aizy, as soon as this happens, he wants to get aggressive into middle. The leash spots him, so he's forced to fall out eventually. But the reason for this is aizy kind of enables k0nfig when they're playing this this CT side of Cobblestone. He will get down, so if he gets down here, obviously k0nfig can just concentrate on towards long and do his thing, because he is such a talented player, such a sharp player. So if you want to talk about support players, this is kind of how this works on the CT side. This is kind of like a buddy system. If you think about the T side, aizy will give space for k0nfig to get all the frags pretty much. So obviously leash spots him, so he's forced to fall out. But then they reposition again. They like to get up aggressive. They don't like to fall back too far onto sight. You'll see Molotov out, and then k0nfig's going to hold this angle while aizy repositions into a very strong angle, and I'll talk about why in a second. Flashes himself out. This is actually really good utility usage, and then they fall back into this kind of setup. Obviously, he could position himself here. He could be on top of the hut on site. Actually, that's another powerful angle when you've got someone like where aizy is covering your long. And you'll see here, as they decide to come out, the reason this angle is so strong is because you see JDM's shadow there. Obviously, it's out a little bit further because he's jumping. But that's what makes this angle so strong, is able to see everyone before they already peek out. You see there with Stan, it's probably a better option because he's not jumping. But you're able to pre-fire everyone. They only have pistols, so they can't really trade it in this situation. But even so, it's still a very powerful angle. And yeah, that's kind of the round over. It's another variation I'll do. I'm not going to use a clip for this one because I can explain it probably quicker and easier myself. Is they'll just kind of jiggle with nades. So aizy will do something like this, just jiggling for anyone. And as soon as anyone comes, he'll just throw that flash and then fall back himself to kind of the setup we saw before. And k0nfig will do the same thing. If he just has an M4, sometimes he'll play this angle if he's looking for the fight, again because of this shadow. So if you are entering, just a side note, if you're the T side, try and hug this wall so that they don't have that shadow advantage if they're playing an angle like that. Yeah, sometimes he'll do that, but obviously not if they're trying to just hold back. So if he has the AWP, he'll obviously just hold this angle like you saw, then fall back. Obviously he'll often throw a molly or something. Probably not like that, but you get what I mean. And then other times, if he just has an M4, he'll just, again, do the same thing as aizy. And then they'll fall back to the setup that I showed in the last clip. Another option, sometimes aizy will just, with his M4, he'll just hold this angle. You can see anyone's feet coming in. So being an AWPer towards A, k0nfig is obviously going to peek middle on occasions, applying this pressure and getting an information. And he peeks in a whole different way. You see that one just there. He turns away from any pre-flasher and then just peeks that left-hand side of anyone crossing towards long. Immortals actually had the idea, they had him countered, but whoever threw the flash didn't throw a very good one. A bit like that smoke was pretty useless. Yes, they reposition here, and obviously k0nfig though, he's not predictable with his middle peaks. You see, sometimes he'll come running downstairs, like this way here, then peek off towards the right-hand side, and other times he'll just dry peek early, trying to get any information. And it's important that you put something like this into your game when you're playing the CT side of Cobble, because you can get a lot of information peeking towards middle, you can get a pick off like he did just there, and obviously you're not really doing it too often. But definitely once or twice or 3 times in a half, it's definitely very good to keep the T's guessing where the AWP's going to be. and get that extra information for your team. I'm just going to include something that North actually don't do, but I still think it's a very strong hold and a good option to chuck in every now and then, is to boost a player up here and then have another player lower, and you essentially have a double peek here on towards the mid area. Now as soon as you're spotted, it's important to fall off this upper area because you'll just get pre-fired out long. If you aren't spotted, your teammate can continue watching this, and if they come out long, you've got a very strong angle to shoot them in the back. Now obviously it's important to fall off, and then if you're controlling this ramp area, once you're spotted here, it's very hard for the T's to progress onto site, because with you at ramp, they're not really going to be able to get anywhere, forcing them to clear you out at ramp first. So that's it for North and the A Side Cobble. They're pretty good at varying where they play, so the fact that they can hold anywhere up long, they're happy to get up aggressive in your face, and they'll hold at the stairs, or they'll fall back, play a bit more passive. It's part of what makes their hold so effective, is that the T's don't know exactly where to use their utility, where to throw their flashes and stuff. And obviously aizy's are very good at enabling k0nfig. It clears space for him to get these 1, 2, 3 multi-kills in, and yeah, close out rounds. Make sure to subscribe if you're not, and I'll catch you in the next one.